If you're always running late to things and you're known as that friend who can be counted upon to be late, then that might not be your fault. That might not be just a simple motivation problem. There could be something more behind it. It could be adult ADHD. There are other symptoms for this, for example, not being able to concentrate, constantly getting distracted, and a simple task like doing the dishes taking you a long time, more than average. This video is all about adult ADHD and how that is connected to karma. ADHD does have karmic connections. You probably have it because of something to do in your karmic history and your karmic backlog. This video is going to explain this a little bit deeper and most importantly tell you what you can do about it, why this is even happening to you, and what you can do about it. Hi, my name is Ritu. On this channel, I talk about karma and relationships and fixing your relationships so you can have a better life. If that's important to you, please subscribe. Just a week ago, I suddenly realized that I have adult ADHD. I'm not diagnosed yet by the doctor. I have an appointment, so I'll let you know what the proper diagnosis is. But I have self-diagnosed myself, and the signs are that I have severe adult ADHD. As you can imagine, this realization rocked my foundation. I was in a spiral, in a downward spiral for a couple of days, and it was very difficult to come to terms with the fact that my brain is different than probably 90% of the other brains out there, according to current statistics. I think there's many more people with ADHD, not just about 10% of the population. But anyway, the current statistics are like that. 10% of you guys probably also have an ADHD brain. This does not mean you're broken. This does not mean something is wrong with you. This is what I'm telling myself at least, but I know it's easier to say than to feel it. What does this have to do with your karma? I'll explain this with a personal story. So earlier on in my life, I had somebody in my study environment who had severe ADHD but did not talk about it. She did not want people to know she had ADHD, probably because she did not want to be discriminated against. It was a while back. Our world was not so open to mental differences, mental spectrums at that time. Anyway, so she didn't tell anybody. So of course, her ADHD caused her to act certain ways, extremely impulsive, not being able to control what she said, offending people left, right, and center. So I became very offended one time, and I complained. I went to the teachers and I said, this person is bad because 1, 2, 3. They're not respectful, blah, 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 blah. And I got this person in a lot of trouble. I thought I was over it. It's been years. Now, many years later, I'm realizing that I might myself have ADHD. Somebody in my family has been demonstrating very obvious, very typical signs of ADHD recently. So I was researching it a lot. And I happened to be talking to other adults with ADHD, people in their family, specifically kids. And that made me realize more and more, oh my God, these symptoms, I have it too. And you know when the realization happened? Just a week ago, I was trying to do the dishes, and it took me half an hour to do the dishes. It was just a sink full of dishes. It should have taken 5 minutes. Why did it take me half an hour? Because I picked up a plate to wash it, and suddenly from the corner of my eye, I saw a pot that needs to be soaked so that it can be easier to wash later. So I dropped the plate and I soaked the pot. And then I tried to come back to the plate. Suddenly I saw the glasses that need to be brought back to the kitchen from the table. So I dropped the plate again and I went to get the glasses. And then suddenly I saw another item that had to be pre-treated to be washed. So I dropped the plate again and I did that thing. And then suddenly it's been 20 minutes and I still haven't washed that one plate. This is a very typical way a person with ADHD behaves. They are so distracted. Their attention is being pulled in so many different ways. And ADHD is actually about regulating your attention. You're not able to regulate your attention. It doesn't really mean you have a deficit of attention, because when you want to, you can really focus and give all of your attention to one thing. But regulating where the attention goes, this is where the problem happens. Anyway, so this is how I realized that I have ADHD, and I researched it and I self-diagnosed. Coming back to the story, I had some karma connected to ADHD. I got somebody in trouble before. I did not recognize that this person might have it. And of course, now I have it. It's not always so black and white. It's not that you have ADHD because you misjudge somebody in your past who has it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say is that, why did this happen to me? I am now having this issue. I'm having to realize that I have it, and I've had it all my life, so that I can put myself in the shoes of that person I got into trouble before. This is what karma is all about. Karma is about putting you into the position of a person who you might have hurt in the past, so you can feel for yourself how it is or was for that person. Karma is about making you feel sorry, truly sorry in your heart that you might have hurt somebody before, because now you feel the same thing. Now you feel the same pain, or you're in the same situation. So what can you do about it? Have empathy for that person you hurt in the past, or have empathy for where the ADHD is coming to you from in your background. After eye color and hair color, it's the second thing you inherit from your parents. It's the second most common thing you inherit from your parents. So whenever there's genetics or epigenetics involved, karma is automatically involved. Now, again, karmically, what can you do about it? You have ADHD. Okay, how do you make sense of it spiritually? Look back at somebody in your family who might also have had signs of ADHD and understand them better. Maybe your dad was super impulsive and couldn't stick to a relationship. Maybe your dad left you and your mom to go to the next relationship and the next and the next. I don't know. Maybe it's because they have trouble regulating their relationships, because that's a big sign of ADHD. Have understanding, and through understanding you can forgive and understand and bring back your respect for that person, because it's not like they were intentionally trying to hurt you. Their brains are just different, that makes certain things very difficult for them, like maintaining relationships. If you're asking yourself again, but why is this happening? Why me? Why did that happen in the past? And how is this all karmically related, and what can I do about it going forward? Well, for me, the case is now it's time for me to educate others about this condition. It's time for me to open up and talk about it, because I don't want something to happen to me or my children in the future who probably also have ADHD, and get them in a discriminated situation, which I accidentally did to somebody else simply because I wasn't aware that they have this condition. I wasn't sensitive to their condition just because I wasn't aware. They didn't speak up about it back then. They weren't open about it back then. And my mission now is to make sure that we can be open about it, so that when I behave a little bit impulsively or a bit strange, or I can't make decisions, for example, or my son is erratic or too active or whatever, a typical ADHD behavior, somebody doesn't discriminate and punish him for it, but simply has understanding that he's different. His brain acts differently and his brain works differently, so he acts differently. And have compassion for it, understanding, and maybe even make an adjustment for it, because people need that. People who are different need understanding, so that they are not compared with everybody else at the same level, because they're not the same as everybody else. I'm not the same as everybody else. My brain works differently than 90% of people out there, and that's just wow. I hope this video helped you to understand yourself a little bit better, have a bit more compassion for yourself, understanding for yourself, and maybe connect your story back to your past in some way. Maybe somebody you didn't really understand and were angry with because you didn't understand their erratic behavior or their insensitivity towards you. Or maybe it helps you understand your parent and your family history better, because you realize that they weren't doing these hurtful things on purpose. Their brains are just not wired the same, and that's why certain things are harder for them than others. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, because it really helps this get to more people who can benefit from it. If you're still beating yourself up about maybe potentially having adult ADHD and still asking yourself, why me? What does this mean? And what can I do about it? I have a resource for you I've created with 3 simple steps that help you make sense of it and help you see your future plan, your future mission on why this is happening to you and what you can do to serve the world with this gift. In a way, it's a gift because it's very unique to you. If you're interested in that, click the link below and download this free resource. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, and thanks again for watching. See you next time.